on it though. I was using Cell Defender
Oh,
only,
okay.
and I was just noticing that it was shrinking. And then I showed Molly a before and after, and it was only a month between the two
Oh,
pictures.
wow.
And yeah, because Cell Defender gets rid of lumps and bumps, right? So
Yeah, it's
it's
pretty awesome.
yeah, I just had a follow-up. I was just telling Molly I don't know if you saw my story on the Zoom we did with the four of us. My story, and I won't go into it here, but I had extensive scar tissue. That was one of the reasons why I took the Cell Defender, but not the main reason. I was taking it for heavy metal toxicity, but I had extensive internal scar tissue from surgeries, and anyway, I just had a 1 year follow up with my chiropractor, physio, and massage, and they all said the scar tissue is like 90% undetectable when
Oh,
before
wow.
it was literally strangling my internal organs. And
It's amazing.
two major abdominal surgeries with my kids is basically, because I had two C-sections. But some people get scar tissue internally and it causes a lot of dangerous problems. And I was one of those people. So when I got the heavy metals out, it seems like the scar tissue started leaving. And anyway, they were like, wow, it's undetectable. And my symptoms are dissipating like, immensely, and my quality of life is improving. So you can't, what can you say about that? Right?
Yeah,
Like,
and it's so natural. That's what I like. Almost, I like natural ingredients, obviously.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm just texting. I love that you are sharing that because Samantha, you have an incredible story, and you guys, that's just only like a little bit of her story. And I can always send you that other Zoom link where she talks about what she's been through. But I just sent Doug, who is our guest here, a text to say, is the link working? Because it's working for everybody else. And I told him 3:30 our time, my time. So we'll see.
First for me.
What's that?
That's a first for me. I've been on like three of these meetings, and every time I think I lost everybody, you're the first one I haven't lost for a few minutes.
Oh, good, good. So it was easy. You just clicked right on and yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, you showed up, so there you go.
so there we go. We said we would make it work. Yeah, Richard, hi Richard. Do you want to, oh, you guys, so let me tell you this. I don't have you guys muted. If you can mute yourselves. Um, when other people are talking. I don't want to have to mute because I know Doug said he'll answer questions and everything. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is unless somebody doesn't realize and then I'll
That
mute.
works for me. Yeah,
You
I
know?
can mute myself. We're good.
Okay. And Richard, I was just going to say, do you just want to share about your dog's ear? Do you want to share that?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
sure. So my dog had a rash in its ear, and normally that's a vet visit, $500-600 or what have you. I put the what is it, plus relief on it.
Oh, the plus relief. Yep. You sound a
Yep.
tiny bit muffled. Does he sound muffled
Hang
to
on, hang
anybody?
on, hang on, hang on.
A little bit.
Hang on.
Oh, better already. No, now it's nothing.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm a Verizon commercial.
Yes, you are.
All right, so I put it on my dog's ear, and it cleared up in 3 days.
And
Once.
the plus relief, not even the nano silver.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say.
that's all I had. So that's what I used.
He just had
Because
a
it brings down inflammation. Wow.
yeah,
Amazing.
he just
So
had a
secondly,
mhm.
because you don't know this yet, Molly.
Okay.
So I twisted my ankle on Saturday, and nothing happened on Sunday.
We
Nothing
can eat
happened on
first.
Monday.
Unless you're not hungry, we can eat afterwards. Cook them all
It was like completely pain free. And then what was it Wednesday? Yeah, yesterday it blew up like a balloon.
Mhm.
Insane, like painful. Couldn't walk. Couldn't even like step on the street. So I've been just putting it on for like 2 days now since yesterday, and it's already stopped hurting. Which what do they give it? 3 to 8 weeks if you do regular like relief. Its swelling's going down.
Like,
I
wow.
think I'll be over it by tomorrow.
And that was, were you taking, because you just have,
Oh
because
yeah, and I'm doing the drops too, which the nano silver in the water.
so you're doing the Cell Defender drops, right? The little
All of
pump.
them.
And I
The
apologize,
spray.
and the nano silver spray and the Cell Defender drops, and he only has little samples of
Plus relief.
plus relief. And you guys, I apologize. We didn't mean to get into everybody's little testimonies here, but we're waiting for Doug to get on the call. Samantha, has this happened before with him?
Sometimes he's late. Did you text his phone or how are you?
Confirmed that he got the text. He confirmed that he got the link and everything. Yeah, just a little bit ago we talked.
Hmm.
So maybe he'll be here. He'll be
Okay.
here. I think something just, if you guys can just be patient a little bit, and maybe, we're not going to sit here in silence. So Richard, thank you for sharing what you just shared about that, because it's, what Richard knows, so many of you on here know me. Wendy, not as much yet. But when I get excited about something, I'm like, I just want to tell everybody. So I'm like, Richard, you have to try this. It's like, okay, what is it now? Let me try it. And I was like that with Mark. And Sarah, being while we're still waiting, Sarah was my very first distributor. So who signed up? Do you
So
want
yes, absolutely. I will tell you
to?
that Molly and I talk on a regular basis, like nearly daily, but just because we're friends and we've got other things that we do together. And when we're talking in the morning, she's always like, "Oh, let me get my ice pack," and because her back was hurting so bad. And I was in a car accident back in January of last year, and have had to go through a whole lot of stuff, physical therapy and shots in my back and 6 rounds of shots and all this stuff. And one day noticed that she wasn't getting her ice pack. And the next day noticed she wasn't getting her ice pack again. And I said, "What's going on? Why don't you, why no ice pack?" She's like, "I told you about that stuff I started using." And I said, "Oh yeah, the snake oil." Ha ha, right, right. And she said, "No, really." And so like it wasn't her like attacking me with it. She was just telling me what was going on, and I noticed her results.
Yeah.
So I said, "Something's up. Okay, I'm trying that." So as my per usual, I do nothing simple and easy or try anything. I just jump right in, and my back pain's gone down from an 8 to a 2, and now there's days I don't have to use it at all. I use the Plus Relief Cell Defender. Now I'm on Cardio Care. I'm on Plus Mind and Vision because for all the reasons. And I'm in love. I know Doug Dickey just came in because I saw his name pop up. I'm out. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
I'm muting myself.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, so let me just say, so you all, everybody on here, except for I have not met Phil and Meg Watson. Hello. I'm Molly Laporta, and I'm just super excited, even already what we've talked about for this call, and to have our guest on here. This is Doug Dickey, who I'm going to apologize in front of everybody. I spelled your name wrong on the Zoom thing, but I'm sorry. It was just an honest mistake. And here's why I'm doing this call. So, as you all know now, I've been using these products since September, but and I've had some great results, like just amazing. And Doug and I, over the last 2 or 3 days, we met just over the phone, and we have, I don't know, what have we talked? Maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours over the past 2 to 3 days. And I have just learned so much more even about what these products are. And I just said, everybody needs to know. Every single person needs to know about these products. Could we have you come on and talk? And he said, sure. So I'm now going to be quiet and I'm going to let you talk. This is Doug Dickey. He's the VP of Sales with Avini Health. I may have already said that.
Wonderful. Hey, thank you so much for everybody coming on. Um, I want to get right to the point. I'm 56 years old now, Most everything that I believe to be true, I found out not to be true. All the beliefs that our bodies detox and get rid of these toxins because we ate a detox something or other has not turned out to be true. I have personal experience. I was dying, pesticide poisoning, refused to do the doctor's cut and burn methods, and ended up going into nutrition. And I got sicker and sicker and sicker, even though I thought I was healthy. I'd lost weight. I was working out. I looked great. Eight years later, I'm adrenal failure, kidneys having struggles, my liver shut down, and all kinds of rectal issues. We'll just call it tennis ball rectal issues. And you'll notice I don't use medical terms. I don't make medical claims uh, for protection, but I will explain in detail the mechanisms that are at play. So I ended up getting better in 8 weeks, and I thought there's no way that this is possible. I ended up taking something called a zeolite. This here is called Cell Defender. It's in glass and plastic. Our company sells it. And essentially, by way of hands, who here has taken a zeolite before? Knows what a zeolite is, the term. Okay. Zeolites are a type of mineral. We'll call it, it's a crystal called clinoptilolite is one of them. There's 49 different zeolites, asbestos being one of them. But clinoptilolite is kind of nature's filter. It's made during volcanic eruptions. When the ash goes in the air, it lands in salt water and it crystallizes over time. And it becomes just like sand, aluminum silica. But instead of being solid like a brick and negatively charged on the outsides, it's a cage-like structure, like a honeycomb. It's negatively charged on the inside. One of the few minerals on Earth that's negatively charged and negatively charged on the inside. Now, what does this mean? Nature, when it throws all these heavy metals and toxins into the world, they get sucked back into this cage. And so there's zeolite everywhere. It's in every state. It's in your town. It's in the soils. We've consumed it before because it's so prominent. Usually little particles that can come up into foods that we eat. But it's already full because it's millions of years old. It's been absorbing these toxins that whole time. And so when people say, "Hey, I'm taking a zeolite," you usually think of this dirt powder that looks like bentonite or any other clay. And people consume it, it goes through their gut, pulls toxins out of their gut, and goes out the back end. That's typical zeolite. A biochemist named Rick Deitch found a way to take this zeolite and crush it to be much, much smaller. So instead of being 5 microns, it's down to half a micron. So our smallest particles are around 350 nanometers, and at the biggest, sub 1 micron. What that means is that it is absorbed into your bloodstream and your lymphatic system. He also found a way to clean it of all the toxins that come with it. So mercury, arsenic, cadmium, these metals that it's absorbed over a lifetime, he has a way to remove them and replace them with calcium and magnesium and potassium, things like that, sodium. So what happens is when it goes into your bloodstream, so you just simply take the drops, you put 10, 15 drops in your mouth, and then it absorbs within 5 or 10 minutes. It's in your bloodstream, just going around, minding its own business. It's just a type of dirt. The body knows it is dirt, and so it goes around and it grabs heavy metals that are in circulation. Because you might be on a detox product, which is detoxing the metals out of your cells, but it's counting on your liver to get rid of these toxins. And your liver can't get rid of these heavy metals. Extremely low ability to get rid of extremely low amounts. So your body gets really good at storing them. That's why they say, well, you have your heavy metals stored in the bone, in the tissue, in the fat, any sort of um, inactive tissue is the places that you're going to be storing these toxins. And your liver's really good at it. It turns them into a metalloprotein and then it stores it somewhere. But when you go on a detox and you detox those cells, goes back to the liver through the blood and lymphatic system and clogs up the process, puts a burden on your liver. So when I started taking it, I had no belief system that this was going to work. I was just doing it because somebody else had had a product experience. I took the product hourly, 10 to 15 drops, saw nothing for 2 weeks. Not a single thing, was just as sick, rectal bleeding, swollen everything, did not see any difference. 2 weeks. At the beginning of the third week, all of a sudden the bleeding stopped, which was a huge benefit. Then a few days later, I got all these pimples on my neck and a skin issue that was at the top of my head went away in the third week that they said was going to kill me, but it never got around to getting that done. Then the fourth week, I came out of depression. The fifth week, all of a sudden I'm peeing out this awful smelling stuff, dark beer looking urine. And by the sixth week, I'm waking up at 6 in the morning, full of energy, completely different life. I had a swollen lymph gland under my armpit, the size of a golf ball, gone. I had skin issues on my back, gone. So I'm now asking this question, how is this possible? I'm a scientist, I'm an inventor, I own 3 other companies. How is it possible that a mineral called a zeolite, very, very common, could do this? So I fly out immediately. I fly out to meet the biochemist that made this, guy named Rick Deitch, who's both a pharmaceutical biochemist, inventor of chemotherapy, 12 different chemotherapies he created on computer modeled. Um, he did advanced computer modeling of chemotherapies. That was his job. He wanted to get rid of the chemotherapy because it never leaves your body. Chemotherapy is like arsenic trioxide or cobalt or platinum. Many of these heavy metals are used as chemotherapies and they stay in your body and they continue to cause cancer years and years later. So even though they're effective at killing off the fast-growing cells, they also harm your body. So he thought if I could make this stuff small enough, if I could activate it, make it correct, he actually started the whole industry of zeolites in being shared and used. He's the category creator. Even the wording he invented. So the idea was to have this zeolite grab these metals and toxins when they're in circulation, and when they are full, electrically full, they leave the body. Your body gets rid of them through the urine. So it bypasses your liver process of getting rid of toxins. It bypasses the normal kidney processes of getting toxins. And it just simply opens up the side port, pushes it into the bladder, and it's out through your urine. So what's really, really cool about this is it's gentle. It's the only product in the world that grabs these heavy metals from the bloodstream and lymphatic system and gets them out of the body without taking calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium in high levels with it. There's chelation therapy. A lot of people have done that with using EDTA, which bonds to all of the metals. And it takes the little ones out as much as it takes the big ones out. So I start studying, once I learned how the product works, I start wanting to connect how is heavy metals and a baseball in my colon have anything to do with each other. And to me, I couldn't see a connection, right? Removing heavy metals. Once I discovered, it's kind of little known, but everybody knows it. I'm like the last person to find out, is the liver runs everything in the body. The liver runs all the endocrine glands. It makes hormones and enzymes second by second as it cleans the blood, as it circulates 2 quarts of blood every minute of your life. The liver has to clean the toxins, but that's like last. It's managing proteins, it's managing sugar, it's managing all the other endocrine glands through hormones and enzymes. Nothing moves in the body without the liver. So once I understood that, I started to look at what would a burden on the liver look like? Because they call it body burden. If these metals come into the liver as they're circulating every 5 minutes, they're coming back to the liver because they're in solution. Arsenic, which is probably the most common heavy metal that's affecting everybody, arsenic requires as much as 30 seconds for the liver to turn it into a metalloprotein, essentially make a little protein, connect it to the arsenic, and send it somewhere to be stored. That's 30 seconds. It's not running the thyroid, the pancreas, the pituitary, the pineal gland, all the rest of your glands, testicles, ovaries. All the rest of these glands are being ignored while the liver is dealing with the toxic metals. If I'm constantly detoxing, I'm constantly putting these toxins back in the bloodstream, causing more and more burden upon my liver. That's why you see people who exercise and eat right and drink water and they do everything correct and they look beautiful and they have fatty liver, adrenal fatigue, and kidney issues. Because these toxins we're putting back into the bloodstream where they want to be in fat. We, of course, have banned fat in our bodies. We're trying to get rid of it all the time. And because we don't have that fat to store these toxins, they're circulating. So I noticed, as well as several other people noticed, that when you start on Cell Defender and you're taking high doses, by the way, there's studies that support these things that I'm saying. When you're taking higher doses of zeolite, as it goes in the bloodstream, it's grabbing mercury, arsenic, cadmium. These are extremely small, highly charged metals. So we're going to give them an electrolyte gradient charge of 14. Mercury is like a plus 14. Arsenic, cadmium's like a plus 13. When it comes to its use as an electrolyte in the flow of blood, calcium's a 3, magnesium's a 2, potassium's a 1. If you look at the electrolytic gradient, potassium's at the bottom. Now, who here is deficient in potassium? Everybody, right? Because the body's like, hey, with 50 of these mercury and 20 of these arsenic, I have all the electric charge I need in my bloodstream and lymphatic system. Therefore, I'm going to dump these little 1s and 2s, magnesium and potassium. So if my body's constantly dumping it, I'm low not because of absorption, but because the body is trying to keep homeostasis through the electrolytic gradient. What that means to us is when you're low in calcium and magnesium in the bloodstream, your organs, your endocrine organs do not produce hormones. So if you're a guy and you have low testosterone, it's not because the testes can't make the testosterone. It's because the testicles are not going to make testosterone until there's magnesium and calcium in sufficient amount in the bloodstream. And as long as mercury, arsenic, cadmium are there, there's no need for calcium and magnesium. So that's why it's low. So we find that when people start taking Cell Defender and they're getting the drops into their bloodstream and it's grabbing the high charged metals first, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, and you're peeing those out, the body needs to replace those electrolytes. And so it'll either pull more toxins in from stored areas of the body, like more mercury, more arsenic, more cadmium, which means it's bringing it to the place to leave the body, or it's going to bring the calcium magnesium levels up, which immediately triggers, in the case of men, testicles starting to produce testosterone. Now it gets transported, better blood flow because arteries move blood around the body using calcium and magnesium in solution. So many of the problems we suffer from is because we have calcium and magnesium levels that are low in the body, in the bloodstream. And for women, you make twice as many hormones. So your body has to stay alive, extract calcium and magnesium from other places. And so it takes it from the tissue, connective tissue, and it takes it from the bones, which is why women are 50% higher than men in osteoporosis, is the amount of metals that are constantly in circulation, especially if you're exercising and detoxing all the time, you're keeping a higher level of these heavy metals in solution, thus causing a struggle on your hormones. And why does it happen at 40 for most people? How long does it take to build up enough arsenic, cadmium, chromium, mercury, lead in your bloodstream, in your body? Plus, when you start to lose weight later on, that you had added earlier on, you're getting an acute poisoning of these toxins. The metals don't disappear like the fat does. Fat gets burned for energy. The metals just go back into solution, back into the bloodstream, and they become a burden on the liver. And we have this awful thing called a hyperimmune switch, which is what you feel when you walk next to the cliff. When you feel scared, you get the little hairs on the back of your neck that stand up. That's your hyperimmune mechanism. Also gives you allergies, gives you lots and lots of triggers. You hear somebody died and instantly your guts tighten up and you're sick. That's your hyperimmune response. It gets triggered by heavy metals, chemicals, and toxins, PFAS, volatile organic compounds, that flow back into the bloodstream when you lose weight. So if you're cycling, your body's constantly trying to put on fat because it has all these metals coming in that are triggering fat production for storage. You're losing them through exercise and starvation and whatever else. And so you're keeping these metals in solution, which is limiting. Now, nobody ever talks about it from this perspective, but everywhere I went, this fit into why I was still drinking 8 Cokes a day, and yet my blood sugar balanced. How did it go from being 200 every morning down to 110, 115 in the morning? And the only thing I added was a zeolite. That makes no sense, unless, of course, the zeolite took the metals and toxins out of the bloodstream ahead of the liver, so the liver didn't have any burden that was slowing it down, was able to tell my pancreas, hey, I need more insulin. This guy's drinking 8 Cokes a day. He's an idiot, but I need more insulin. So the liver would allow these mechanisms to be handled because it wasn't too busy with the converting metals into metalloproteins. I want to stop right there and I'll go on to some other products in a minute, but I want to answer any questions anybody might have. This is open discussion. It's being recorded, so don't use medical terms if possible. Just describe it.
You would all have to, if you do have a question, just unmute yourself. I don't have anybody muted at all. Does anybody have any questions? Because you know I'll come up with something if you don't. Um, One thing I will ask you, Doug, is when it's stored in the okay, so this is where it really has hit me over the last couple of days talking with you. over the years of my life, I've done different detoxes, cleanses, all kinds of things.
Me too.
Right, probably because I'm 55, so probably for the past at least 20 years before my son was born, a couple years, something like that. And of course, they say, well, you're just when you do a cleanse, you can feel kind of sick and you can feel, and that's normal and all that. Um, but looking back now, and I wasn't putting it together then, different health issues would come up, whether it was a rash on my back, anxiety, that's brain inflammation, all kinds of things. Um, pain,
Common cold. Common cold.
cold,
Yep.
pain in my joints, pain in my back, all different things. And people would look at me and be like, gosh, she does cleanses and detox. And so if I were and I had stomach issues all the time. Gosh, my mom's sitting right here. Remember, I had stomach issues a lot. And what really hits me is when you say, there's so many people out there. Detox is such a buzzword right now. So many people are doing detoxes and they just go on Amazon and they buy something. And
Nature Sunshine, top level detox, right?
yeah. And and when you don't have something that can pull out what you're dumping from the fat, because there's been times I've gained a little weight, lost a little weight, and it'd be like, oh, I want to lose that last 5 pounds, whatever. But if you don't have something that is going to carry it out safely through the urine, oh my gosh, when you explained to me how it just gets recycled back in, and then it can take years to build up. And I love the way Samantha will say, you don't know when you're going to hit that tipping point.
Well,
And
that's something I want to add is because in my case, and I won't get into all the details, but in my case, not only was I losing weight because I was working out, I was eating healthy, I was intermittent fasting, I was doing all the things. So I didn't know that my body was releasing all these metals while I was losing 40 pounds that I desperately needed to lose. But then I got my tipping point by being dentally poisoned, right? And then everything hit the fan. And that's when my health completely tanked and I was so, so sick. But I was just doing what I thought I had to do to be healthy and to maintain a healthy body weight. But boy, was I a recipe for disaster. And I didn't have anything to get the metals out safely and passively at the time, right? So if I had been on that as a preventative, then maybe what happened to me would not have happened to me, or maybe it would have been less extreme. I don't know, but we're all just one little tipping point away because of the world we live in. And, you know, in my case, it was just a horrible disaster. But look at that, and look what Cell Defender did to get me back, you know. So what Doug says makes so much sense.
And when Samantha started, one drop made her sick. She was she was scared to death with one drop because her body was so toxic, trying to essentially keeping everything in solution. It took you what, almost 2 weeks to get up to 10 drops, is that right?
Yeah, it took me a couple of weeks to get up to 5 drops 4 times a day, and I'm still on 5 drops 4 times a day, unless I have something else going on where I want to dose it a bit more. But even if I dose it a bit more, I'm fine now.
Okay, good. Good. The other thing too, and this was really strange to me, is I detoxed. I ate the vegan diet before it was a positive thing and for people to know about. I did all of the things that the book said, and where I felt better, I lost weight, I gained more muscle, and I thought I was healthy. It just pushed me to a point which took 8 years to where now I'm in the hospital and I can't function. That tipping point, and everybody's looking for something. Well, what was it? Did you do something? No, it was the accumulation of these toxins that that made it so my heart went thump, 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 all over the place. Why did that go away week 6 of taking these products? How is that possible that that could go away? I have a belief system. My belief is that as I was pulling the toxins out of the blood at a very high rate, 15 times what your body can do, my body was looking for other toxins to get back into the blood to bring the electrolytes back up. And because I was constantly, and still 4 years later, getting rid of these toxins at a super high rate, I'm constantly pulling out everything that's available. And therefore, it's being pulled out of my knees where I had scar tissue, Osgood-Schlatter's disease, a genetic disease of deformation. It causes a lot of scar tissue. Well, guess where the body stores toxins? In scar tissue, non-metabolic tissue of the body. So why is it not click anymore? Why do they not hurt anymore? Because my body has removed the toxins from that scar tissue and has healed that up. And I believe everybody has areas that it's stored in, and when you cause this deficiency of electrolytes in your bloodstream of the heavy metals, your body immediately responds to balance that. Richard, you have a question?
Yeah, you just raised the point that so I started taking this, I don't know, maybe 3, 4 days ago. I didn't know there was a limit on drops, so I've been doing 10, 12, 15 drops every bottle of water. But I have noticed you just said something about your heart bumping. All of a sudden, that's happening like a lot. Like, am I overdosing? Am I cleaning too quickly?
So that's a very good question. How many times a day are you taking it?
Twice.
Okay, twice a day. So if you're feeling the palpitations, that means toxins which are being pulled into the cage and hidden from the body, meaning it takes away its charge. You're getting rid of that via the urine. You're having more toxins, which your body goes and gets and brings back in the bloodstream. Your liver's going, oh my gosh, I've just been poisoned because it's
Hmm.
come in from your stored areas back in the bloodstream. This is what we call a Herxheimer or a detox. So there's a couple things. One, you can slow down the amount. Your blood can only take between 10 and 15 drops into it every hour. So you can't detox that way. Whatever you put in your gut doesn't cause any of this detox. It's only what's in the bloodstream. So more often is the key. So if your body's peeing it out in 4 hours and you're only taking it twice a day, that means for 16 hours, you're getting toxins flowing into the bloodstream, but you're not removing them. So it would be better for you to take 5 drops 6 or 8 times a day to ensure that you have the zeolite in the bloodstream when metals and toxins are flowing back in. You can also determine how much it requires for you to trigger that toxin flow out of the tissue and stored areas back into the bloodstream. That's a valuable number. If it's 4 drops every hour, hour or 2 hours or whatever, or if it's 6 or 8, because some people will take, let's say, 5 drops 4 times a day, and they're just getting out what's in the bloodstream. They need to go to 6 or 7 4 times a day to start triggering more toxins to flow back into the blood to clean the storage areas. Because if your body's using calcium and magnesium to regulate that electrolytic gradient, your body's not pulling any more toxins out. It's just whatever your replacement of cells rotation that introduces it. And so you can really regulate with Cell Defender because we know one drop has about 200,000 particles. Each particle can hold about 9,000 metals. And so because we have studies that show this stuff. And so we can figure out, how much is leaving the body, but you need to figure out at what rate you can get rid of it. I was so sick, I was nearly bedridden before, so I didn't notice feeling worse, but some people like Samantha, panic feelings, things like that. Now we do have another product called Zimmunity, which we use 7 medicinal mushrooms. It's not about the mushrooms, but we use these mushrooms when they are planted too close to each other, they get stressed. And so they concentrate different chemicals. And our product has chemicals called 1,3 and 1,6 beta glucans. And you can Google them. The biggest thing they do, only are they anti-cancer and immunomodulatory, they also turn off your hyperimmune response. So that same thing it gives you anxiety, same thing it gives you depression or bad thoughts goes away. So your body's like, hey, this is cool. I know that I'm getting toxins coming in, but relax, it's all right. And so everybody's calm, which allows you to detox at 15 times greater than your normal body's ability and not feel sick. It turns off that mechanism. For some people, they no longer want to kill themselves. Pretty amazing. But it's a mechanism that not the same. We have some people who are afraid of heights that since they've been on Zimmunity are no longer afraid of heights. They can walk near the cliff because the logic overpowers the hyperimmune response. People in dark with the things, they no longer afraid of the dark where they were deathly afraid. And we even have some people eating peanut butter, have been allergic to peanut butter their whole life because we turn down this hyperimmune response, which how many, there's 106 autoimmune disorders out there, all caused by a reaction to toxins, not by the toxins themselves. So we have this product available. It's about bottle this size. You take two in the morning, two at night, and even your dose hormones balance whenever you shut down your hyperimmune. So that means your serotonin from your gut becomes more available, your dopamine, your oxytocin, all of these help balance because it's immunomodulatory. And this is a second product we have. Almost everybody that starts detox takes the Immunity also. And even if you're allergic to mushrooms, you won't be allergic to this. Molly, did I answer your question?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'd noticed today that my excuse me, ladies, but my pee was very different smelling today and totally different color
Bad.
than normal too. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
horrible.
So you've been on it how many weeks?
No, just a couple of days.
Oh, this is fantastic news. No, this is fantastic because your body's ready to get rid of it. Usually it's 2 to 3 weeks on a super high dose before
Mm.
it starts to really change and smell bad. If it gets to the gutted deer smell, like you can't even breathe it because it's so disgusting, stay at that level at least 3 weeks. And then when it clears up, and it'll be dark and foamy.
Ooh.
The foam uh, mold and yeast cannot live in an alkaline state. And the zeolite, when it's in the bloodstream, pulling in these cations, creates an alkaline bubble, which alkalinizes the blood and the lymphatic system to healthier
Mm.
levels. Yeast has to leave the body, and it typically goes to your areas where you might get a thrush or yeast infection or athlete's foot or jock itch. It's there for a week, and then it's out of your body. I was on Candida killers for 10 years, like $200 a month, and I never got rid of it because I was eating nothing but sugars because my adrenals were shut down. 3, 4 weeks on Cell Defender, the Candida was gone. You can
Wow.
test that in the morning, by the way.
Yeah.
Molly.
Thank you.
Here's all I was going to say. Richard, first of all, I apologize. I thought I had sent you the thing that said start with 1 in the morning, 1 at night, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Maybe I didn't send it. I'm sorry. So back to that point, Doug, when I have people start on it, I send them something, and that's what I say. Start with the drop in the morning, and I say build up until 10 in the morning, 10 at night, just to make it kind of easy for them, right? To get started on it. I don't want anything to be complicated. The more I hear you, and I haven't been telling them, Zimmunity mushrooms to kind of balance that out. Because of course I don't want anybody to be like, oh, she's trying to sell me another product. So this is great. This is why I want you to be explaining this stuff here. But would you say like for me, I kind of jumped right to from 1 drop in the morning, 1 at night to I was already on to 4 times a day. Like I just was like, I'm kind of like Richard, just let's go with this. Um, is it better then, I don't know if this is even the right question, to kind of have them closer together, the drops, not just 10 in the morning, 10 at night, or 5 in the morning. How do
Right. So the way to look at this is your body has a natural excretion rate, and
I,
it's typically 4 to 6 hours. So the zeolite will fill up and reach its electrical full
okay.
within 6 hours. So that means your body's dumping it out through the urine. Okay, passing through the blood, goes to the beginning part of the kidneys, then jumps right into the bladder and out through the urine. It's grabbing toxins out of the kidneys, grabbing toxins the whole way, right? And that would be through the prostate and everything. Um, in this case, you need to take it at least once every 6 hours. So 24 would be 4 times, like what Samantha's doing. And that's assuming your
$1?
body's not
You don't want
two
to do
hours.
just 50?
What's that?
Wonderful.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Sorry.
what was that? I'm going to mute you.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So,
Sorry, Doug.
so, so anyways, what you want to do is more often is better. Okay.
Okay.
Even if it was 1 drop every hour, it's better. And hourly, no, let me tell you. So there's 2 studies in our back office under critical review of clinoptilolite zeolite. And in these studies, it's not in that study, but that study references the study Wang et al. It basically suggests that they found that people that had micronized and activated zeolite, which were the only ones, that when they took this at a certain amount per hour or so many times a day, what they found was these bad cells that they were watching for, so cells that are running bad, we'll just call them that they would trigger themselves off, and they wanted to know why. And this was a pretty common, there's 400 something studies that go back with the government and looking at zeolite and why it turns off these bad cells. And so they thought at first it was trying to pull the metals out of the bad cells that would cause them to be bad. What they found is that every cell has something called a anti-tumor gene, or some of them have several. So P51, P53 are tumor suppressor genes, and then there's the P21, which is a gene it basically decides whether the gene's viable or not. When the cell thinks that something's wrong, it'll just kill itself off. Kind of keeps you from growing a tail. Okay. So they found that when the bad cell's running, it's not too bad. Most of the things are working, but it's running off fermentation, which makes a lot of acid. When it senses an alkaline charge outside the door of the cell, it goes, oh no, something's different. I'm not going to be able to live in this environment. And so it automatically pulls something called apoptosis, and that cell melts and the bad cell goes away. If you're taking the product, let's say every 4 hours or 6 hours, and you're taking you could be taking 10 drops 4 times a day. You're not going to have a high enough concentration to continually trigger these bad cells to die off at a rate faster than they're growing. Which means if you have bad cells in your body, which the day you're born, there's 200 million bad cells that your little teeny fetus body is healing itself from. When you have these bad cells growing at a massive rate, if you could just by chance, as this stuff's flowing through your body, move along with the blood where the bad cells are going to be feeding, if you could just turn them off at a faster rate, why would you not do that? So that kind of says that you need to get up to a little bit higher dose. Now, all 15 of our clinical studies on our product, 6 are published, 3 are peer reviewed. They all are 10 drops twice a day because they're on safety and efficacy. The studies are all on, does it remove heavy metals and toxins? How much? At what percentage of excretion rate? And is it safe? Was there any safety issues? All the studies are on that. We don't have a study on whether a certain amount of it hourly or every 4 hours or every 8 hours. We don't have a study that's showing that. That's a study that we want to do, but we don't have that yet. However, in my view, if I have some bad experience is coming because of things that are growing, let's say a baseball size thing in my colon, and it's bad, and I know it's going to be bad, I would want to take the highest amount I could get in the bloodstream, which happens to be 10 to 15 drops. Any more than that goes to the colon and comes out with the poo. I would want to take the highest dose I could without feeling sick, and I'd want to take it as often as possible. Now, every 15 minutes, you could get a little more, but it's really just a pain in the rear at that point. But if you could take it every hour, that is, I set my watch. My watch dings every hour, and on the hour, I take 10 drops. Just super easy, right? I drink lots of water. I go through, 3 quarts of water a day. And I use a product we have called Plus Hydration that forces hydration into my kidneys and my lungs and other organs. And so the idea is to take enough of this stuff to turn off bad cells automatically. There's no negative. You can't overdo it. As long as you're taking care of the large source of toxins flowing into your bloodstream fast, which happens in the first few months for people. Once you've been on it a couple of months, you could go to the high dose and you won't have a reaction because your body's used to pulling the toxins out. It would just do it at a higher rate. However, I will say my eyesight, which was 20/40, went to 20/15 in a little over 2 years. The attention disorder that I had, where I only could focus for 15 minutes, is completely gone. That went away at 4 months on the product. I had 300 issues with my back, pimples and moles, and you name it. It's down to less than 10. They've all gone away on their own. Skin tags, all gone. I bench press 275 now as a 56-year-old, 5 times. My strength is better than it's ever been. My resting heart rate went from 87 beats a minute to 57, which is a 24-year-old male athlete. I clearly am not a 24-year-old male athlete by looking at me, but my organs have been cleaned out. I don't have any of those issues. And I travel 20, 25 days a month. So I am constantly in the battle, you know. So these things, if you can take more product and remove this stuff, commit to it for 4 months. All the testimonials are within 4 months. You see these miracles where people were supposed to die, 4 months. 4 months high dose, and that's the major thing. We also have a product which is a fiber, and the fiber plus fiber, all these are guarantees. Blood sugar, cholesterol, there's 200 studies done on this one product. Phenomenal. It also stops all the toxins from coming in from your organic vegetables, from the chicken, from the pork, from all these other things. Helps change your environment so you can get rid of leaky gut. You can get rid of all the inflammation in your intestinal tract and colon. If you have issues with valves in there, stops all that. Triggers, like one of the biggest issues, people don't produce enough acid when they eat food. So they're not producing hydrochloric acid because it's not triggering peristalsis. Our fiber does that. And it's whole food fiber. It's the best fiber you could ever find. So taking that keeps any more toxins from coming in while you're removing everything from the bloodstream. It really, the products and the technology that Rick brought forward, he was head formulator for a company called Rexall 25 years ago. He's a savant. He remembers everything he's ever read since he was 2 and can recall it word for word at any point. And he does all the time. Amazing. But he's making the purest, highest quality material product so you can detox faster and be healthier than anything else that you could take. All
Um,
right, back to
I
question. Go ahead.
I know, Samantha, do you still have a question? And then I want to make a point. I won't forget if you want
Yeah,
to.
I want to make a point and I want to ask a question. So I just want to clarify. I did not feel sick when I started taking the Cell Defender, but I had a few days of a little bit of a raised anxiety, which I think was down to, and Doug knows this. I mean, I was 4 years of anxiety because I was so, so sick. And so I think it was just, and I was very traumatized because I had been dentally and medically poisoned. So putting something else in my body, I was very, very scared. It was irrational fear because I was so, so sick. My brain was so, so sick. So I don't think that I had a reaction to Cell Defender. I might have had a little bit of maybe questionable liver pain on the second night, but I don't even know if that was really what it was or if it was just in my head because I was just so fearful. But that all left about the third or fourth day, and I haven't had any issues whatsoever, all positives. Um, so when people ask, is there any detox effect? For me, really, I haven't had any. It's been very gentle. Um, I don't know if Doug has time to touch any more on what he said, but he said something that struck me about 900 molecules in a zeolite cage or something like that. Can you just maybe just comment a little bit more on that because that struck
Yeah.
my attention, if you could.
Yeah, so the typical zeolite cage, which is about a half a micron, so it's a cube shaped 500 nanometers by about 500 nanometers by 500 nanometers. So they're cube shaped. They're flat sided with no holes on two sides, and then the other four sides have lots of holes. Now there is a negative 9,000 charge across the surface of just one, which if you calculate it out, it can hold tens of thousands of ions of heavy metals, anything above a plus 10. Now, even though mercury is only a plus 3 when we're talking valence bonding, because of its small size and electrical charge, surface area is tied to electrical charge. This gets into the chemistry, but it's got this massive electrical charge. It's like those guys that only, do pull-ups and stuff with one arm, and they got this huge, right arm like a claw. And it's the same way. The zeolite has a negative 9,000 charge, so if it's grabbing mercury, it'll be less particles to fill it up. If it's grabbing arsenic, it'll be more particles because the charge difference. And no other company out there in the industry that copies Rick's wording has any clue of this stuff. Rick, it took him 6 years to invent machinery to make this product because it had to be standardized and he was going to sell it to doctors and cancer centers, which he did for a while. But they just weren't interested in it. If it doesn't burn and kill, they didn't sell it. So he got it out to people as the best detox product you could ever get and detox from the inside out. No other detoxes get. I'll give you an example real quick. I get this call. I have, I don't know, 400 videos out there. I get this call, and the guy says, "Thank you for putting your phone number on the video because it made it easy for me to call you." He says, "I'm a doctor. I travel from Phoenix down into Mexico, and I save lives. We treat all kinds of people with these bad cells. And I want to tell you that I disagree with you. The body does detox itself. It detoxes these metals because we do it all the time." I said, "Fantastic. This is wonderful. This is exciting. Tell me how." And he says, "Well, the liver does it." I said, "No, I want to know how because I can't seem to find how anywhere." He goes, "Well, the liver attaches the toxins to the bile and the bile goes into the intestinal tract." And I go, "Okay, I can agree with that. How many gallbladders are stopped up on a daily basis? Nothing goes through. How many are removed each day? 5,500 in the United States. Is that working? It's not working for 5,500 a day. They get clogged up, so it won't even push the bile through. Let's say it gets through the gallbladder and it makes it in the intestinal tract. It gets reabsorbed within 3 or 4 feet because the body reabsorbs the bile. So do the heavy metals that are attached to the bile let go and make their way out the rear end, or do they stay connected to the bile and be reabsorbed? They get reabsorbed. Common sense. So what you have to have is fiber, the right type of fiber, to grab those heavy metals and attach to them, bind to them, to take it out the back end. Or you need activated charcoal, or you need bentonite, or you need a dozen other types of clays, red clay. These things have the right texture and grab hold of the bile and the toxins, they take them out. So the next question is bile's triggered by fat consumption. Your tongue feels fat on it. The reason you have taste buds is it's telling the body, hey, this stuff's coming, right? This is why if you don't have taste buds, things don't work for you. When the taste buds trigger that fat is coming, body then dumps bile in. If if you need a certain amount of fiber to grab that bile to remove it so that you can detox the liver, how many people here eat their fiber with their fat? Nobody eats fiber with your fat. I mean, there's no fiber in a bun, right? There's literally no fiber in anything that we eat that's going to have a fatty triggering mechanism. So you have to take a supplement of the right type of fiber prior to your meal. 15 minutes. You have to, or it's not gonna work. Next, let's say it gets all the way down to your intestinal tract. 5.5 feet of your colon has roughly enough surface area of a tennis court. Huge amount of surface area. How are you going to stop that from reabsorbing this highly charged metal, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, iron? How are you going to stop it from reabsorbing, especially if you have leaky gut or if you haven't been eating the right fibers to produce butyric acid to replace those cell tissue, the epithelial cells? This is why we are sick, is because we aren't eating the correct foods that would go with our body's system. So you have to supplement. That's why the fiber is one of the most important things. It's in our bundle, and we discount it for people. This mechanism is required for removing the bile ducts, the toxins in the bile ducts, the gallbladder stones. All of this can clean out if you're removing it with fiber. So if you're not taking the fiber, I don't do well with fiber, whatever, then your organs are still stopped up. So that's why this product's so important. Did that answer your question, Samantha?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah.
I need to ask then two things. One, if you're, say somebody just says, here's what I can afford, and it's the Cell Defender right now. Okay.
Yep.
So two things to go along with that. I know you said you are still high dosing 10 to 15 drops every hour, whatever it is. Okay, well, for the normal person right now, they're not gonna. Let me back up. If somebody doesn't have something major that they're going through, which none of us really know for sure at the time,
Right.
they just want to get started on it. Okay, they haven't been told they're ill.
Right.
The Cell Defender is still going to help. I want people to know, even
Oh
if
yeah.
high dosing at 10 drops an hour, okay, because I'm not doing that much. And second of all, if they don't have the fiber, because like I'm just going to be starting the fiber, I just am ordering it. But I haven't been taking the fiber, and I've been on this September, October, November, and far into December right now. So I want people to know, yes, it's a great thing to have the fiber, but is it absolutely necessary? They're still
No,
going. Okay. Will you talk a
no.
little bit on that? Because I want to make sure people know that.
Yeah, Cell Defender, think of it as if you're in the desert and you haven't had water for 24 hours, would it be beneficial to have just a teaspoon of water? Of course, right? So Cell Defender, just using it 10 drops twice a day, all of the studies showed it increased the excretion rate by 15 times.
Okay. Yep.
So very good. In fact, if you're using it just poorly, you're not even don't know how to use it, but you're just getting some in your body, huge results. Is it the best result? Because I hear people who the doctor, like my sister-in-law did a testimony a couple days ago. Doctor sent her home to die. bedridden, all kinds of it's spread all over her body. And I'm not offering her 5 drops twice a day. She has 1 week. So we put her on the high, super high dose. Of course, I'm paying for it. To me, is $250 really a lot of money? $250 gets you 5 bottles a month. If I if I did that for 4 months and I spent $1,000, which is what I did, I reversed 25 years of suffering in 4 months, a little less than 4 months. Is that worthwhile? Most people are not going to believe what we say. I barely believe it. I barely believe my 2 hands in front of me. But that's why we put 1,600 testimonials out there on a website. People can search through and look at all the different data. 1,600 people in 2.5 years have had these results. Those are just the people that want to share about the baseball size thing in their colon, right? Most don't want to share. They just got well, and that's what they need. So from my perspective, yes, a person is going to get great benefit from 1 bottle. Absolutely should get on it, half a bottle, just whatever it is they can do. But they should know all the other information. They should know this and this happens and this happens. And I've tried to get some information together. It's very difficult to do that and still stay generic and not make any claims. So the wonderful thing about network marketing, because there's only a couple things wonderful about network marketing. I think of it a lot like crack dealing, maybe only a step above crack dealing because of the experiences I've had with network marketing. But when you understand network marketing, it gives me the ability and everybody here the ability to share your testimony the way that you want to share it, and anybody can kiss it because you have that power in network marketing. Now, you can't do that on TV. You can't do that in other places. Only in direct sales where you're talking to somebody. So we have videos that this person who had this experience can tell you directly what they experience. Just kind of like what we're doing in Samantha sharing a minute ago. That's very, very powerful. The other point of network marketing is some people love to talk. Some people are just natural providers of information. They should be able to make money to do it more often, right? Full time. And then the third thing is we really need the power of duplication to leverage your efforts. If you really, really want to do well and you're able to, save, let's say you want to save 1,000 people. Let's change the way we say this. Let's say I want to tell 1,000 people about this life-saving product that changed my life in 8 weeks. And I want to share that with thousands of people. I can't do it on my own. I don't have enough time. So I need to build a group of highly motivated people to do this. That also offers us with this. Other than that, most all the other stuff's garbage. We don't have that with our company. We're all about uh, letting the word get out to people to save lives. Even Samantha, when I first talked to her, she's like, I wouldn't be interested in the business. And then she starts telling everybody about the product, right? Still not interested necessarily in the money, but is made differences in so many people's lives because she keeps telling people, you got to know about this. So if somebody will start with 1 bottle, I'll take it. If
Okay.
somebody will start just with the mushrooms or the plus relief, we have a product that gets rid of pain, chronic pain.
Yeah.
And yeah, Sarah's lift her hand. Amazing product. And then you can get probably 25% more people to use it when you tell them it comes from cobra venom. Because I'm like, I want to try that. That sounds cool. The skydivers and rock climbers and people that love being on the edge. Yeah, can I get that in a drink? Yeah, actually. So so that's kind of the power. So however we can get somebody to get on it, um, great. And then our nano silver, our nano silver spherical in shape, 7 to 10 nanometers, completely stabilized, leaves the body in 24 hours. Hundreds of studies on this stuff, showing amazing, the size and shape matters on the silver. People spray it in their mouth, they drink it, they gargle with it. People coming down with something and they drink it and they don't come down with anything. It just goes away. Yeah. People got to know about that. People got to take it. Our plus hydration, phenomenal. We have people getting off hospice within 2 weeks drinking the plus hydration because they start hydrating their kidneys. All of a sudden, the kidneys start functioning again because we eat vegetables thinking we're doing good for us. 3 times the metals in organic vegetables. The more photosynthetic the leaf is, the more metals in it. And then we get all the oxalates with it. The plants are trying to protect themselves. So our kidneys can process oxalates easy if they're hydrated. My strength is because I'm hydrated all the time. So these are things that we need to share with people that don't know. This isn't just a regular company. This company is going to save the world with the help of everybody here. Yes, Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, I really believe in these products. I got involved right in May, right when it started. I got wind of it through my contacts with another company, and I started using it. And I yeah, I can testify to the power of nanosilver. But I wanted to go back to Cell Defender, which was the thing that really caught my attention originally. And you mentioned athletes. I, been very involved with nutritional products for over 40 years. Some through network marketing, some through the health food store, because my mother was an advocate of natural health. And then in my career, I also have worked as an ad rep for a health magazine that catered to the nutritional product industry, and I have not found anything that compares with this. And so my wife came to me about a year and a half ago, and I've been on these products. It helped me considerably with male issues. Where when you leave the house, you're strategizing as to where the nearest bathroom would be when you're out and about in the world. And getting up often in the night, and I found almost immediate relief from that, and of course, reducing my fear of more serious bad cell situation in the male organs. But anyway, my wife pointed out to me a year and a half into using these products that, yeah, you do all this, you take these things, you advocate for them, but you never really, you're not in great physical condition. You never exercise. You're all kind of in your head. You're out promoting things and talking about them, but what are you doing to stretch yourself physically? And so I just said, you know what? I'm just going to walk out the back gate here. We got some running trails. I'm going to start jogging. So, and I did that. And, there's a place where you kind of hit the wall a little bit, start huffing and puffing. And so, I gradually expanded that. And I got so encouraged by it that a little over a year ago in September of 2023, I said, you know what? I'm going to do the Vancouver Sun Run, which is the biggest annual run, timed run in Canada. 45,000 people through the streets of Vancouver. So I'm going to do the Sun Run next year to celebrate my 80th birthday. And so I kept training, and I got some technology from a local running club that I joined, which was mostly women who are 20, 30, 40, 50 years younger than me. And trained, and I ran in the race, first timed race I did run in my life, and I came in 13th out of 36 men in my age group. And since then, Avini is introduced, and you haven't mentioned the cardio care yet, Doug, but when I got my hands on that, after continuing my training after my great success, that I had lots of bragging rights for, I noticed that about a 20% surge, even in terms of getting to a sense of flow. And so recently I did a 1500, on a Olympic track, and a friend of mine timed me, and I did it in less than 10 minutes, which is pretty good for an 80-year-old. And I'm continuing to train, and my ambition is this coming next year in April to be on the podium, if not first.
Wow.
And I think I can do it. But it's going to take some work, and it's going to and now I have more confidence. I didn't have a lot of confidence. It's pretty intimidating. With all these younger people running past you. They've got the spry legs and but I think my arteries are a lot clearer, just like Neil Roth talks about. He's had 20 years. I've only had 3, or no, it will be 3 in May. And who knows?
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. The cool thing is one of the studies that we have showed that athletes who took 10 drops twice a day had an 82% recovery, 82% faster post-workout recovery. So after working out, they completely recovered. The use of Cell Defender also reduces lactic acid buildup in your muscles by as much as 80%. Non-athletes had a 67% faster recovery after working out. So simply the use of Cell Defender in a daily fashion, twice a day, 10 drops, they saw a 5 to 7 times increase in calcium and magnesium within 30 days in the bloodstream. So Cell Defender, by far the most important, we call it tip of the spear. It is the most important product that you can ever take. And I tell people, nutrition cannot remove toxins. This idea that, oh, I eat this supplement, I can eat all the cilantro I want, the spinach and kale, and it does not have a mechanism to remove the heavy metals from the body. Your liver does, your kidneys do, but neither one are going to do it. With the exception of arsenic, organic arsenic, which comes in rice, gets into your body, and you can pee that out just as easy, and that's what gets peed out. Now, if it gets heated up in the rice to 190 degrees, I think it has to be over 160 something, it converts to inorganic arsenic and it can't be peed out. The only way is to bind it up while in the blood or lymphatic system. You don't want zeolite going into the cells. You don't want it up in the brain and the cells and the cholesterol. You want it in the circulatory system. Ours is the right size and shape to go through the blood, but not enter into good cells. We don't cause any intracellular mechanisms. And so by removing this junk as you detox on a cellular level, regulate that, you can get healthy at a much faster rate. Go ahead, Phil. You had one more question.
Yeah, just very quickly, just want to validate what you said. Come to think of it, I think back, I never feel stiff the next day after I run.
You're healing overnight.
Yeah.
And if you take the plus
and
hydration,
I remember as a kid, if I went out and exerted myself, I'd really feel it the next day, and I don't.
Yeah, two other really important things. Enzymes are important. Your body makes most of them, but supplementing enzymes I found to really stop inflammation in my gut, having had gut issues my whole life, or since I was 20. The other thing is the plus hydration. Taking one of those a day, forcing hydration into the organs will change your life. Will give you strength that you've never felt. Anybody with headaches, it's dehydration. I mean, neurological issues can cause them, but most all the time it's dehydration. The other thing is the fiber. The most important thing the fiber does is regulate blood sugar entry into the body. When you get, when you're on the fiber and the rate at which the blood sugar is being allowed to go into the bloodstream manages hundreds of metabolite shifts in the body, hundreds. The most beneficial thing you can do is to regulate your blood sugar. And the fiber does that by simply taking a scoop, putting it in water. Tastes wonderful. If you don't like the taste of it, put some chocolate trim science with it, which is what I do. Drink it down in 10 seconds, whatever. Get it in your body with that meal. Regulating your blood sugar will have more benefit for muscle mass, for regulating fat production, for regulating serotonin and oxytocin and dopamine and norepinephrine. All of these dose hormones will regulate better if you regulate blood sugar. So super important. Yes, Molly.
My mom, who does not want to be on camera, is here.
Hi, Mom.
Would like me to ask just a couple questions. The first one, and other people might be wondering about taking any of our products with other medications, and I know the answer, but I want you to answer. For example, she's on a blood thinner, so she's always real careful about what she can take with things. And then the other question is, I can't say these words, but any type of bad cells, we call them rogue cells, things in the body, whatever organs our stuff is good for. Doesn't really matter which kind of bad cells. Would that be
It
correct?
doesn't. Your body's been keeping bad cells at bay since you were born, even before you were born. So why is it when you start to get older, sort of run down, that these bad cells are able to take over and grow? And it all has to do with toxicity. Does not have to do with deficiency at all anywhere. Not in a first world country. You cannot outnutrition toxicity. You have to remove the offending toxins. The cell defender does that without causing any contraindications with any medicines. So if you're a type 1 blood sugar sufferer, then if you're checking your blood and adding insulin, which is what they do into their stomach, at the rate that they need, absolutely, they will not have to regulate their blood nearly as much. But a lot of type 1 people, they just give them, I had 2 pieces of pizza, so I just give myself so much insulin because the last 5,000 times I've needed this much. Well, if you're taking our products and you're type 1 and you eat the 2 pieces of pizza, your blood is probably already going to be perfect. So you don't want to give yourself insulin without checking. That's the only precautions we give to people. And platinum chemotherapy, if somebody, because you can take this product with all the chemotherapies and it will remove the chemotherapy after it's done its work. With platinum, it'll remove it before it does its work. So you have to wait 3 days and then start taking it again. But it's completely safe and it removes the toxins from your body after they've done their job.
So my husband has cancer.
Okay. We
He
don't use that word if you haven't caught
well
that
for
along the
for,
way.
for the second time
Okay.
in the last 3 years.
Okay.
He has done the chemo, the radiation, surgery, the all those things. He is also a diabetic.
Okay.
Um, he also just found out he has a clot in her jugular vein, which they believe will dissipate on its own.
Okay.
So he has been tested for heavy metals,
Yeah.
blood, live and dry. and was told that he did not have a lot of heavy metals, which is hard to believe because we're farmers.
Oh, yeah.
So,
All pesticides have heavy metals in them to make them systemic.
so if he was to start on the Cell Defender, well, and I would say also the fiber, I think he would definitely need that. What would you say? I mean, his immune system is already compromised. Um, and we do a lot of holistic um, building up of cells and things like that. How many drops would you say he should start with?
When you say you do holistic things, what things are you doing holistically?
Um, we do we go to a naturalist doctor who makes her own
Tinctures?
tinctures
Yeah.
and things like that we believe, especially before his first treatment, the first cancer, um, the doctors were amazed how fast he bounced back.
Right.
So I had been going to her for 10 years. I
Mhm.
wanted um, to do as much for his body prior to all the crap they were going to do to it.
Right.
And I believed it really helped.
Oh,
I
yeah. Tinctures are
I
powerful.
yeah. And so um we as before I said, he just went through more of it, I don't know, couple.
Is he done with the doctor stuff?
No, he's not. I mean, he's getting to the point because um it's like they tell you, okay, it's gone, and then you go back in 3 or 6 months. Oh, it's here, and oh, it's there, and it's
Yeah. I know I've probably talked to 2,000 people in the last 3 years. Very similar things. So here's what I would suggest. The tinctures are powerful, but they can only do a cellular detox. So let's say, for instance, if you imagine inside the body, you got these bad cells, tincture goes into the body, maybe has a response mechanism, starts breaking these bad cells up. These bad cells and any toxins that cause them to be bad are not going to just miraculously leave the body. Tincture doesn't do that. The liver gains the burden on that. So the liver will process whatever it can, then it'll restore those toxins somewhere else because it doesn't have a mechanism that can get rid of the toxins at the rate that they're coming back into the bloodstream. Okay, so yes, he would feel healthier, he would look healthier, he'd have color back in his face, he would have all of these benefits, but the toxins are still in the body for the most part. And when they test them, depend on how good he is. Some people are great excretors, they can excrete. Most people are not. So he's probably good at storing them. And if he's added any fat, that's probably where they're at, which means that's a good sign. That's a good thing. They're out of the bloodstream, stored in the fat safely. So that's important, along with all the chemo. By the way, the chemo doesn't leave your body either. So I'll give you an example. My sister-in-law in 18 months went through 30 rounds of chemo. And she's been on this product 3.5 months now. And just kind of miraculous. Doctors don't know where everything went. It was in the blood and in the liver and in the spleen and in the pancreas. So usually when things get in the pancreas, it's all bad news. And amazing, I have her on very high doses of everything. And so my opinion would be this. You have to decide, you and him have to decide what you guys want to do. If it was me and I was in the same situation, I would take Cell Defender. I would buy like a 7 pack or whichever. I'd get enough for 3 months of going through a bottle every 5 days. every 6 days. So about 5 to 6 bottles a month. Every hour, watch beeps, 10, 15 drops in the mouth. Do a squirt. Drink more water with plus hydration that we have would be beneficial. I would get on 2 and 2 of the Immunity. The components inside of the Immunity outperformed chemotherapy in studies done 8, 10 years ago. This is referenced in one of the studies in the back of our back office. Scientific research tells how and why it works. So having that in there is beneficial. The silver, I don't have any silver here. I would have him drinking an ounce of silver every 3 days minimum. My sister-in-law's on an ounce of silver every day. Your body pees it out in 24 hours. But while it's in the body, it's whipping this bad stuff into bad shape.
Yeah. We drink
What?
colloidal silver.
I would ask you not to do that. So colloidal silver, that's not there's only one silver in the world. I'm going to say there's three, but there's only one that leaves the body. So what happens? And the silver is extremely effective at killing bacteria and viruses and these sort of things. And what happens is you get a colloid, right? A big large particle of silver, and these ions jump off either through pH or temperature or light, or you could sneeze and 50 of these ions jump off of the silver. The ions are very effective at killing bacteria. They kill viruses, they kill parasites. They're very effective. They also kill your healthy cells, your platelets, your plasma, and your white blood cells. They just do. And it doesn't matter if they're using PEG or polyol to stabilize the silver, then the body's being poisoned by those chemicals, which most of them use. If they're using fulvic or sugar or something along those lines, then it's just gumming everything up. This is the only silver that is highly effective and leaves the body in 24 hours. It is completely stable. You can boil it, you can freeze it, and the silver does not let go of the water. I would not drink. I used to make my own silver, 3 6-volt batteries. I had a machine that made it. I had no idea how much that was poisoning me until I started reading studies on silver. I'm the one that brought the silver to the company. The studies, if you go on, you just Google, should I drink silver, any type of silver, the government's going to show you 500 studies that show how it's going to kill you. It's killing you at the same rate mercury, arsenic, cadmium, and lead are. Millions of cells a day. The people just don't know it. And so, yes, it is effective for killing off these other things, but so is ivermectin, so is hydroxychloroquine. There's other options. So my advice, stop drinking the other silver because it's killing as many healthy cells as it is bad cells. Um, the and which places a burden on the liver. By the way, did they suggest that he had fatty liver or adrenal fatigue?
No.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. If his adrenals are functioning good, that's very good. I happen to have a background in fertilizer. I'm an inventor of some healthy fertilizers. I've been in the farming thing for 30 years. That's where I cut my teeth. So I know all of the chemicals that are used from soybean to potatoes, and what they do to the body and what they have in them. The fiber, if I can get somebody to get on the fiber, the removal of these toxins is so effective getting on the fiber. Stop detoxing with any other detoxing materials just for a short time, couple, 3 weeks. Just try to apply this just for a few weeks, and you can go back to salads, you can go back to other things. I do have somebody that was doing a tincture and everything, and she's on our products high dose. And all of a sudden, she has an ileostomy bag and a urotomy bag, and they started filling up with chunks of tissue when she started to take our products. Oh, there you are. And so when you take our products, try to not take anything else just for a short time, just to let your body start getting the toxins physically out of your body. If you want to measure it, you can pee in a cup and you can send it off for $150. Somebody will tell you everything that's coming out through the pee. So you can, people do this all the time. They put it up on WhatsApp and they go, look at the changes in my pee over 6 months. And they spent $2,000 verifying it, but they needed that to know. But I would get on Cell Defender, Silver, Zimmunity. Zimmunity is going to make a big difference in how you feel when you're getting these toxins out. If you spend some time at avinitestimonials.com and you go to bad cells section and you start listening to some of these people that were not supposed to live the whole week, you can hear directly from people with inoperable issues in their brain, inoperable issues in their neck, terminal issues that nobody ever lives from that are still here 2 years later. And all they took was this because it was inoperable. The doctors couldn't do anything. They couldn't legally give them anything. And they're here today. So, anyways, that's what I would do. Do your research. We could do other calls. Take your time and make a complete decision. We can even get you on the phone with our biochemist if you're interested. Yeah, Molly.
I was just going to say for everyone, so we have a WhatsApp group that I believe you don't have to be a distributor to be in that group. Is that correct?
You have to be invited by somebody, so you just have to get somebody to invite you. It is a private group.
Okay, so like Wendy, if you would like to be in that group, or Richard or Elizabeth, Sarah, you're already in it, I believe. Um, I can get that link to you guys, and there's all kinds of great information in there. I can also tell you where to find the testimonials. Well, you could tell us right now, and I can put it in the chat. Is it
AviniTestimonials.com. You could also go to Avini Health Training where all the studies are. We have tons and tons of studies done by universities on the product that reference exactly what we're talking about. But there's so much crap you can't believe nowadays. This world is full of 99% lies. And so you have to look into it, you have to pray about it, you have to follow your gut. I
inspiring?
myself wandered and wandered for years and had given up trying to find a way to cash in on my life insurance policy. And then I got better. And this 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 technology everyone needs. Nobody's getting out alive. This product is the fastest way back. And for everybody, doesn't matter what issue it is. Your body's been fixing itself for a long time anyways. This is just going to help your body fix itself faster and better. Hopefully that's helpful to you, Wendy.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wanted to say this, and then Phil, you can go ahead. The first thing when I said something to my younger brother who's got a lot of health issues, when I said I wanted to share something with you about zeolite, no way, no zeolite. My doctors told me I couldn't touch that. So just telling those of you who are just starting to learn about this, you may hear that because there are other zeolites, and you did explain it at the beginning. But I want you to know that we have the only one that is cleaned the way it's cleaned. Rick Deitch, our biochemist, the way that he has made sure that it is the right size cage, that's what makes us different. And I won't share the name of it. It doesn't matter. There's only a few popular ones out there. And I went on one of them. The initials are TB. I don't know if I can say other names, but I went on one of these zeolites, and it was maybe 3 or 4 months before I had my breast implants taken out. And I felt so much worse. And I thought, what is going on? Well, I guess things are just getting worse and worse. And I truly believe now, after what I've learned, that using that other type of zeolite was causing a lot more problems. So just wanted to share that.
Well, I just wanted to add a very quick question for Doug, but I see he's popped off, or are you there? Oh, here. Okay, maybe I have a question for him, and
Does
yeah,
anybody else?
the issue of compliance and the big C word. Uh, I'm wondering if if Doug could confirm whether the word malignant or malignancy are non-compliant. I would think that they would be compliant, but we never seem to use them. And I
Sam,
think they have a little more of an authoritative ring than bad
You know
sales
what,
or rogue
Phil,
sales.
Phil, hi, by the way. Nice to finally see you. Phil is
Yeah.
also in Canada. He's in Vancouver. Um, and we
Hi,
haven't
neighbor.
actually, yeah, hi. We haven't actually met yet, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Um, I think you can email a Michael at
Well, now
compliance.
Doug is off. I just,
it's bad.
Doug,
Oh, okay.
is, are the two words malignant and malignancy non-compliant?
Yes, they are both medical terms, and you need to be in the medical field and
Okay.
have a license from of a
Okay.
medical person to
Okay.
start talking about those words. What it would simply do is it would draw attention to our company, and then they would say, "Are these people making medical claims because they're using medical terms?"
Okay.
And then everybody loses their right to buy these products.
No, I have no problem. I know all of that. I just never heard that those two words specifically were considered
If
medical.
it's used, oh, we could probably wordsmith our way around it. You can say a lot of things if you're not talking. If I'm talking to just strictly distributors, as I am, right now, there's a lot of different things I could say that I can't say if I'm talking to potential buyers, right? If I'm talking to a customer, then my word value is even tighter. But if I say everything that I talked about today has not been approved by the FDA, they don't even look into this. This is a nutritional supplement or seen as a supplement, and we don't make claims to cure, prevent, or heal anything, which we don't. The products that we have help your body fix itself as it was designed to do. It simply removes the things that are in the way of your body fixing itself. And that's what it does. It just technically that's true. The zeolite can't heal anything. Even if it causes a reaction that's beneficial to the body, it's your body that does the work. It's your cells that trigger an upregulation of a certain gene. It's not cell defender. So the more I put of a disclaimer in there, I can pretty much say lots and lots of things. But if I want to leave the disclaimer out, then I choose not to say any medical terms or medical claims.
Am I able to share this video when we're done, even though Wendy,
Certainly.
I
There's
mean,
no claims in the
just
video.
asked about that. She wasn't saying anything, right? So we're fine that she
Oh,
said.
which video?
So this video right now that
Oh,
I'm recording, and Wendy
yeah.
used the C word, but she was just asking questions.
Yeah.
So great. Okay, perfect. Because I do want to share this with people
Yeah,
who,
yeah. Nothing that I say is questionable. Again, it comes down to if I make a claim. So I had some serious health issues, and I could use all the medical terms I wanted to in telling you about my unique personal experience. Nobody can do anything.
okay.
It does draw attention. Well, this guy's VP of sales for the company, he's part owner. He's got to be, yeah, whatever. But they still couldn't do anything. It comes down to, am I promising you that you'll get the same result I got? I can't promise that, right? And so all of the other 1,600 people can't promise that either. But you start to question, well, wait a second, this has happened for 202 people. That's pretty good odds. I mean, we know chemotherapy only works for 3% and only at most gains you 5 years, and it kills most people. This is just common information you can get. So I don't know. Do I want to try the thing that doesn't have any negatives, doesn't have any downside? Try it for a month. I tell people they like a lot of people say for 4 months, how long do I have to take this high dose? Try it for the first month. If you feel great after the first month, then extend for a second month. If you're on board at that point, they do a PET scan like they did for my sister-in-law Rosie, and all the stuff that they saw 2 months ago was gone. Then you could decide to do a third month, and you could decide to do a fourth month. Again, this is all up to you, knowing that there's no promises. It's the promise is it's safe, can't hurt you. And even if I talked you out of a month of it, what is that, $500? I've had meals for $500. I had an A5 Wagyu steak that cost $500. I regret that more than I regret anything I've taken from Avini. But no, I don't even regret it. It was so good. The A5 steak was, just melt. So,
I think
anyways,
Richard has a question. Just I don't know if you can see the little hand up there. And then
yeah,
another real quick sip before you go. She says, please don't leave us, Doug, in the chat before you talk about Plus Mind and Vision. And you did talk about cardio care a little
yeah,
bit. Okay.
a little bit.
Okay. Richard.
I just want to
Yeah,
ask a quick
Richie.
question about the pet products.
Yes.
What's their usage? What would I do with them? Because I have two Bernese mountain dogs. They're huge and they're not known for a long life, so I want to try and keep them as healthy as possible.
Yeah, so Cell Defender is in with some hypoallergenic um, material that's healthy for the dog. Basically, it tastes like barbecue chicken. Apparently, in 9 out of 10 veterinarians say barbecue chicken's best for dogs or something. I don't know. Um, you put a little bit on a treat size of a pea or so, and then you give them the treat. The plus relief, dogs and cats, they get injured and they can't have regular medicines, and especially if they're a little bit older. So you give them the plus relief. It's immunomodulatory, which means it helps the body relax. So it stops inflammation and pain in the body. It's completely safe, non-narcotic, non-addictive, and healthy for the dogs and cats. These are for dogs and cats. Same amount, doesn't matter whether it's a 150-pound dog or a 5-pound dog, same amount. We give horses 10 drops of Cell Defender, and the horse weighs 1,500 pounds. So it doesn't seem to be, you don't have to give it, based on weight. The plus relief, again, you may have to use a little more for a bigger dog just to get enough. But again, you can use it 2-3 times a day. Then you get immediate response. Use it once a day. You may not see the immediate response, but it's working. Helps modulate the white blood cells, which stops inflammation throughout the whole body. Very, very beneficial. There is no cobra venom in the products anymore. The venom's been denatured, right? So it's just bad to kill people. So we don't have the venom in there, but we have the peptides from the venom that calm the body down, that relax it and stop pain. And those are healthy for your body. Your body likes them once you do it 2 or 3 times to get your body to try it. The other thing in the cardio care, which you talked about, is amazing. I made a joke with Rick at one of our meetings. I said, if I gave you $10,000, could you make the cardio care better? He goes, you give me $1 million. It can't be better. I've already made the absolute best product that can be made. The concentration of the different ingredients, how they work together synergistically. It's based off a product he formulated 25 years ago for Rexall that was selling millions of dollars worth. And he made it better by putting the zeolite in it, bringing breviscapine, which is this incredible product, a Chinese flower extract that every time they buy, I think it's every 5 kilopounds or whatever they call it, kilograms. I think it's every 5 is like a 2024 Mercedes top of the line car. It's so expensive, it's kept under lock and key with one person with the access to it. It is absolutely it's more expensive than cocaine. It's really, really powerful, and it helps your entire cardiovascular system replace itself. All of the little fine veins and fine arteries, They all replace themselves very quickly. And it's great for healing your body up on the cardiovascular side. 30% of the people have problems now with their cardiovascular system. This replaced it quickly. It's in 3 pills and pretty awesome. The Mind and Vision is another product that is meant to help with both mind and vision. Apparently, when you help the mind, the vision is improved and vice versa. And so we have this. What's special about these products, a lot of companies put, like for mind and vision, they use lutein. We use a patented product called uh, Flomax or Flow. I can't even think of the name of it. Something Flow, and it's basically a highly concentrated form of lutein. We're using, I think, 1.5 times more than what the study showed to improve eyesight. So we have the doses of the ingredients at the level of the studies or greater. And so it's important to have enough of the working material to that was in the study. A lot of companies they do like pixie dust or fairy dust. They just sprinkle a little bit of it. It's 1 microgram where you need 8 grams in the study. Well, he's using 15 grams in the product. We also don't have any fillers. It's all 100% active product, 100%. So just naturally, it's really incredible. Yeah, I see it.
Sorry, I just want to let everybody know. I only set this for 2 hours, and so we have
Yeah.
6 5 minutes. Go.
Yeah, no problem. So the cool thing is, those are incredible products. My favorite, outside of course, Cell Defender. I mean, I'll mug a old lady in the back alley to get a Cell Defender if it's the only one left. I, it is that important to me. But the Plus energy is pretty awesome. I love the Plus energy, but the Plus hydration can change your whole life. Try doing it once. I tell people if you're a couch potato, the only time you move is to go pee. Take the Plus hydration one time. Take it in the morning. You'll be amazed at how it makes you feel. If you exercise more, then take two throughout the day. You basically make it up and drink it within a short while. It'll hydrate your organs and muscles within minutes, totally hydrating them. So it's taking the glycogen in plus the electrolytes. It's not sitting in your gut. Drink an extra thing of water with it because it'll hydrate that too. If you're exercising, you're gonna run. I would be on 3 a day. I'd do one before you run. I would do one during the run, or if you bike or whatever it is. 3 is life-changing. I started taking 5 to 6 a day for the only reason is because I was cutting out sodas, and soda's more addictive than anything I can imagine. And it took taking plus hydration in place of each soda to get off that kick. It took almost 3 months. During that time, my strength went up 40%, and I'm already really strong. And so I tracked it. I did 5 to 6 a day, and then I went to 3 a day, and then went to 0. And I did these for a week at a time. And my strength and my energy levels were definitely affected by that. So, plus hydration, amazing product. The last thing, our company has been debt-free since our 4th day in business. It was important to us that we be debt-free so we can make good decisions. Most network marketing companies are just not about the products or the distributors. It's all about them. Hey, let's make some money. Okay, we need a product. And then they grab something. Nobody's ever held this bottle sideways, so we'll have some sort of sideways bottle holder. And that's our company. Everybody, ooh, come on, everybody get excited. We're going to make lots of money selling this bottle sideways holder. And it's ridiculous how network marketing has turned out to be not much better than a crack dealer. So we built something different. This is about the products. We had this product. We needed a company to provide a lifelong place for you to get the products. The product's been out since 2003. It's from 4 companies. Why? Why did they have to go out of business? They were selling 90,000 bottles a month in 25 countries. When they fought over who get to cash the millions of dollars in checks, and then boom, the company was gone. I could have known about this earlier if they hadn't screwed it up. So we built this company to be around. The comp plan is a lifelong comp plan. You build it once, you get in when it's small, like less than 12,000 distributors now. When it's a million distributors, you're going to have a very good income. We pay 50% of the money to the distributors. We respect our distributors. We're not going to go to influencers or other people like that. You have to join and the cool thing is you say, I am not a networker. I don't want to be a part of network marketing. Great. Simply join as a wholesale buyer, get 20% off on the products to wholesale, rest of your life, no monthly, no yearly, no obligations at all. We just want people who love the product because they buy product and other people make some money off of it. That's wonderful. So we have this set up to really be of value. And we're changing the whole industry. We have people coming to us that hate network marketing, PTSD, and they come here and they go, oh my gosh, I love this. You guys are here for the right reasons. Yes, we are. And so it's important that we are here for the right reasons. And so that's why we talk about products. That's why we talk about this. But a person that does the business, builds a team, will help more people than the one that doesn't. And so it's important that we have the business side of it and people that enjoy the challenge of that. I appreciate everybody being on the call, and we'll do this again, I'm sure.
Thank you so much. Everybody, if you have any questions, get a hold of me and I'll put you in touch and everything.
Oh
Thank you.
my gosh, you're so good. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank
Doug.
you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you
Appreciate it. Thank you.
so much. We'll do it
Bye-bye.
again.
Come to
Thank you,
Vancouver.
everybody.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.